Hands up in the air, dance up, move our bodies. Hands up, we don't care. Everybody swaying all night. Hands up in the air, dance up,
Hey guys, how's
move
it
our
going?
bodies.
Here.
Hands up,
So
we don't
Apple
care.
just finished a presentation of WWDC 2020. And so this, of course, WWDC was a little bit much more different than what we're usually used to. But actually, it was actually really a good WWDC. So if you guys skipped it or missed it, you could probably watch it right now on YouTube. It's probably live now, where you could just watch it over again. And it was one of my favorite WWDCs in a long time. So today, guys, I want to share with you guys everything that was presented today, and the top features that I'm really excited about in the new iOS 14, watchOS, macOS, which is something really different, something new for me. So yeah, let's begin. So first off, of course, iOS 14. So a new redesigned home screen kind of style. So now widgets are finally going to be introduced to the home screen. So that's right. Widgets are finally going to be allowed on the home screen in iOS 14, which is just awesome. And of course, with that comes a new redesign of the widgets. So they're just much more bubbly, I guess is a word I can use to describe the new redesigns of the widget. They just look really nice. And what's also awesome about this is that you could resize them on your home screen. So depending on the size that you want them, you could resize them to maybe a small rectangle or a square. So yeah, if this kind of sounds familiar, of course, you know, on Android, it's been on Android for a long time. Of course, this is a big news for iOS just because, you know, it's been something that a lot of users have been asking for, and finally Apple has delivered this new feature. Next, of course, we have is another new feature called App Library, or also known as the App Drawer, just like on Android. So the App Library is pretty much an area where it'll be easier for people who have maybe more than 2 screens of apps, like me, to find some of the apps that you're looking for. Instead of having to maybe search every single folder, you can now just quickly just launch this app library or the app drawer, and it will automatically put them in the app. So like if you're looking for Twitter, then of course the Twitter will be in the social media folder, where the iPhone or iOS 14 is going to put it there to find it much more faster for you. And it's just a nice little feature. But yeah, I use Spotlight to find my apps, but this is just gonna make it a little bit much more easier to find it in categories, instead of having to maybe search your whole phone for this app. Next, of course, we have picture-in-picture. So what that means pretty much is that you can watch now. That means you could pretty much watch Apple TV shows while you're on Twitter or on Apple Notes, or want to do something else on your phone instead of just watching a movie. So yeah, if that sounds familiar, of course, another new feature. Android fans are going to get a nice little fun of trolling and making memes about this. But yeah, this feature is coming to iOS 14 now. Next, of course, is Siri. So Siri is now not going to take over your whole screen like what we're used to seeing when we summon Siri. Instead, now whenever you want to use Siri, it will just hover over the home screen in the bottom in the middle, and it won't take over the whole screen. And you can ask it whatever you want, and it will give you the response as a notification, which is really neat and just much more cleaner as well. And it's just something that it makes sense, because I don't know why Apple hadn't done this in a long time, because Siri was just taking over the home screen whenever you needed to use Siri on the iPhone. Next, we have, of course, Siri supports now iMessage voice. So that's right. So now you can send a text message or an iMessage just using your voice. So something else, like, you know, you can always send voice with you can always send an iMessage with your voice, but now you can actually send a voice message with Siri. So yeah, something really nice. It's just another way of different communication, and it's just a different feel to it, of course, when you're communicating something with your voice, when you're sending your voice in an iMessage. And not least but not last, the last big feature in iOS 14 is Apple Maps. So Apple Maps is going to get a new kind of update. So 2 big features are coming to Apple Maps, and that's bike support, so that means users who ride their bikes now will have bike lanes and everything like that shown on Apple Maps to show them the route of bike lanes and everything like that. And another big feature is EV routing. So pretty much, so if you own an electric car like a Tesla and all that stuff, you'll be able to find charging stations so that you could charge your electric car. So two big features for Apple Maps right there. And of course, that's pretty much it, the big stuff in iOS 14 right now. There's probably going to be so much more features coming out later this week that are going to be known when developers get their hands and start downloading iOS 14 on their phones, the beta versions. So yeah, that's good. I can't wait to see what else is going to be coming in iOS 14. Next, of course, an iPad OS. So iPad OS, of course, is getting the new widgets, just like in iOS 14, the bubbly, square, rounded widgets as well. You will not be able to put those on the main home screen like on the iPhone, because pretty much when you move the iPad in horizontal view, you get the widgets on the left side already hovering pretty much on the home screen, so they're just gonna stay there, so they're not gonna change there. The Siri animation, just like on the iPhone, is going to be in the bottom right corner now. So that's where Siri's going to pop out. You're going to see the icon right there. And so yeah, it's going to be really great and fantastic that now it doesn't take over the whole screen. So a big feature, of course, that a lot of people were asking for is now the phone call. So in iPad OS, now whenever you receive a iMessage, a FaceTime or a phone call on the iPad, it will no longer take over the whole screen. It will show up as a notification instead. So it'll just come up from the top, and you could click accept or decline. And yes, this feature is also coming to iOS 14. So yes, the iPhone is also getting this feature, which is so good because it will just take over the whole screen, and you pretty much can't do anything when it just starts ringing your phone. And so yeah, I'm really happy that's coming, this new feature in iPad OS, and also of course in iOS 14. And of course, Spotlight on iPad OS, which is coming really, so it's gonna make it really easy to find stuff on the iPad as well. A new Apple Pencil feature is coming out, so Scribble is coming to the iPad OS, and of course Apple Pencil. So if you're an Apple Pencil user, you're gonna be really happy with Scribble, because it's gonna make it much more easier to just use the Apple Pencil with your iPad, and it's just gonna make it much more useful and much more better as well. So that's pretty much it, the big stuff, of course, in iPad OS, of course. Like I said, with iOS 14, there's probably going to be so much more features that are going to be found when developers get their hands on iPad OS, the beta right now. Next, of course, AirPods got a small little shout out. So AirPods Pro are going to be getting a new feature. So pretty much, it's called spatial audio. So pretty much it's kind of gonna bring like the movie theater kind of sound feel to it. So when you put on your AirPods Pro, this feature only is available for AirPods Pro. It will start to like make sound like kind of like 3D kind of style, like so from like all over angles. And so it's gonna make it feel like you're in a movie theater kind of style while you're watching a video on your iPad or on your Mac or on your phone. But yeah, that's a really neat feature. And then of course another big feature with the AirPods is automatically switching devices. So if you're watching a movie on your iPad, it will automatically, of course, already connect to your iPad. If the phone calls come up on your iPhone, it will automatically switch to the iPhone so that you can answer the calls there. So depending on which device it needs it, the AirPods will switch over in the new update in September as well. So Apple Watch OS. So Apple Watch OS it's gonna get some new features to it. So one big thing, of course, Apple Watch sharing. So pretty much is if you like an Apple Watch face that somebody uploads online on the phone, you could quickly just add it to your library and if you don't have the apps that it shows on the watch face, it will suggest if you want to download that app to have that same complication and that same watch face setup, which is really neat. So yeah, that's really cool that Apple is doing that. Bike support, so just like in iOS 14, Apple Watch, you'll be able to see your directions on your Apple Watch as well. Also a new dancing feature, so a new fitness feature right there. So if you dance and all that stuff, you'll be able to track that fitness on your Apple Watch. Sleep tracking, so this is a big thing. Sleep tracking is going to be huge, of course. So now you don't have to take off your Apple Watch, it will automatically start doing sleep tracking if you wanted to, and it's really cool. But I think my favorite feature on the new WatchOS update that's coming later this year is the hand washing feature. So as somebody you know already, I suffer from OCD and all that stuff, so you know, it's just nice knowing that now you'll be able to do a hand washing feature. So it will do a countdown of how long you should be washing your hands for, and usually of course people say 20 seconds, so it will do a countdown of 20 seconds of you washing your hands. So that's a really neat feature right there. And there's a big feature, privacy feature for all of the Apple ecosystem, of course, but pretty much for iOS 14 and iPadOS. And that is, so now in the App Store, now in down below, you'll be able to see if developers are sharing your information whenever you're using one of their apps. So Apple's gonna be showing that on the App Store right there, in the app's information of the app you're downloaded. It will show if this developer is sharing your information or not. So that's a really smart feature, and of course it's something really important to Apple, this privacy feature of them. Apple TV, there's some stuff with Apple TV. For me, I'm not really an Apple TV user. You know, I use Apple TV Plus, but other than that, I don't own Apple TV. So yeah, I'm not gonna really talk about that. Another YouTube channel, another YouTuber will probably talk about what's new in Apple TV. So yeah, I'm gonna skip over that. Next, of course, macOS. So Big Sur is the new macOS name. So there's a big redesign change in macOS Big Sur. In Big Sur, pretty much now it looks like an iPad kind of style, but on the Mac. So the apps have been redesigned to look like iOS style and iPadOS style as well. It's just a really, you know, it's just mostly iOS on the Mac. Pretty much that's what they did. So it's a big redesign, and their reason for this is just so that everything is unified, so that iPhone, iPad, and Mac, all the design language is just unified into one, and like that users don't get confused of the different designs that they see on the Mac from iOS as well. But also there's some, you know, there's some cool unique logos that were only made for the Mac. Those logos are gonna stay the same, they're just gonna be updated to just fit the design language with all three products coming together as one. And so yeah, it looks fantastic. So that's pretty much it, the big stuff that Apple talked about in WWDC this year. Of course, they also showed the Apple Silicon, their new ARM chip for the Mac OS lineup. I don't really know how to explain that really well in this video, so I'm gonna let somebody else take care of that. But yeah, pretty much that means it's gonna be much more powerful, much more better for developers to develop better apps, software as well, and it's, I guess, big not good news for Intel. So that's pretty much it for what happened in WWDC in this mini recap video of everything that was talked about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did, and tell me what you guys are excited about in about the WWDC, what you guys are excited about in iOS 14, WatchOS, iPadOS, and Big Sur. So that's it for now, and as always, I will see you guys later. Peace.